Hello to your faces. Welcome back. This episode is another set of document and articles in relation to Jeffrey Epstein and the people he surrounded himself with. I find it fascinating that the only person in a prison cell is Ghislaine Maxwell, and I have a video coming up exposing that the person in prison is not Ghislaine Maxwell. We are going to expose everyone connected to Epstein and not let his co-conspirators disappear into the shadows. These documents read as follows. 208/The Palm Beach Post, West Palm Beach, Florida. Date: the 4th of August 2006. Title: He was over 50 and they were girls. If the women whom Palm Beach police say a part-time town resident invited to his home and paid for S6X acts were, in fact, women, the solicitation charge against Jeffrey Epstein might feel more sufficient. But, according to police records, they weren't. He was over 50. And they were girls. Elisa Kramer 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old girls. That should count for something, the difference between prostitution and pedophilia. So it is baffling that Mr. Epstein, who was indicted last month by a grand jury on one felony count of solicitation of prostitution, has not been charged, as Palm Beach police strenuously urged, with unlawful S6X acts, with a minor and lewd and lascivious molestation. Conviction of crimes against minors would mean steeper penalties term Mr. Epstein faces if convicted than the maximum 5-year prison of the single count of felony solicitation. It also would help carry a message of intolerance to perverts who prey on girls. Prosecutors did not pursue charges against Mr. Epstein reflecting the age of the victims, because they assumed a jury would view the girls not as victims, but as promiscuous, untrustworthy, willing participants. The presumption is offensive. Mr. Epstein, a 53-year-old Manhattan money manager who has hired Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz and defense attorney Jack Goldberger, has denied knowing how old the girls were. Jury should have decided if Epstein is a pedophile. But police interviews with 5 alleged victims and 17 witnesses under oath, as well as phone messages, a high school transcript, and other items that police found from searching Mr. Epstein's trash and 7,234-square-foot waterfront home, provide evidence that he knew the girls were teenagers. One girl couldn't show up when Mr. Epstein wanted because she had soccer. Another time Mr. Epstein had to wait for his massage session because the girl he wanted was still in class. Why didn't State Attorney Barry Krischer let a jury decide whether to believe the teenagers, including a 16-year-old who went to Mr. Epstein's house to work in December 2004 after being asked whether she needed to make money for Christmas gifts? Prosecutors gave greater weight vited about the girls in an apparent to the details Mr. Dershowitz pro-effort to assail their character. Mr. Dershowitz pointed out to prosecutors that some of the teenagers had talked on MySpace.com about marijuana and alcohol use. The 20-year-old Royal Palm Beach woman who told police she recruited girls for Mr. Epstein has a webpage on MySpace.com that features one girl using the name Pimpin' Maid EZ. Although no charges of witness tampering have been filed, the parents of at least one of the teenage victims complained to police of being followed and intimidated by 2 men. Police determined that their vehicles were registered to 2 private investigators. Mr. Goldberger denied knowing anything about it. Police also note in their reports that the state attorney's office offered Mr. Epstein a plea deal that would have placed him on probation for 5 years, allowing him ultimately to walk away with no criminal record at all. I asked Mr. Krischer's spokesman, Mike Edmondson, why the case was referred to a grand jury instead of Mr. Epstein being charged and facing a trial before a jury. And shouldn't the victim's credibility be a factor to determine whether a crime's been committed, not whether a jury will convict? After all, as Mr. Goldberger told the Palm Beach Post of Mr. Epstein, he's never denied girls came to the house. Especially, I asked Mr. Edmondson to explain, why shouldn't the public look at this case and think there are 2 kinds of justice, one for the wealthy and one for the rest of us? Mr. Edmondson said he could offered, for the sake of philosophy, not comment on the case because it is active, but on the latter point he called debate. Whether wealth buys a different standard of justice across the country, the answer to that would of course be yes. But in this case, he said, regardless of the battery of attorneys, the outcome would be the same. Every issue that was debated in public was debated in our office before this case went to the grand jury. In this case, it is not the victims. End of news article. Jeffrey Epstein has donated more than $100,000 to Democratic candidates' campaigns, including John Kerry's presidential bid, the re-election campaign of New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson, and the Senate bids of Joe Lieberman, Hillary Clinton, Christopher Dodd, and Charles Schumer. Winged gargoyles guarded the gate at Jeffrey Epstein's Palm Beach mansion. Inside, hidden cameras trolled 2 rooms, while the girls came and went. For the police detectives who sifted through the garbage outside and kept records of visitors, it was the lair of a troubling target. Epstein, one of the most mysterious of the country's mega-rich, was known as much for his secrecy as for his love of fine things. Magnificent homes, private jets, beautiful women, friendships with the world's elite. But at Palm Beach Police Headquarters, he was becoming known for something else. The regular arrival of teenage girls he hired to give him massages and, police say, perform sexual favors. Epstein was different from most sexual 8-bus suspects. He was far more powerful. He counted among his friends former President Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and Prince Andrew, along with some of the most prominent legal, scientific, and business minds in the country. When detectives started see Epstein, Epstein's mysterious lifestyle began to unravel after claims of sexual activity with minors. End of document. 0395681. Judge rules Epstein attorneys can subpoena abortion records. By Jane Musgrave, Palm Beach Post staff writer. West Palm Beach. In a decision that could spark a constitutional showdown over privacy rights, a judge Tuesday gave lawyers representing multimillionaire sex offender Jeffrey Epstein the right to subpoena abortion records from women who are seeking millions in damages from the part-time Palm Beach resident. Palm Beach County Circuit Judge Donald Hafley said the records could help Epstein rebut the women's claims that they suffered psychological ills after being paid to give him sexually charged massages at his Palm Beach mansion when they were as young as 14. Hafley told Epstein's attorneys they couldn't go on a fishing expedition. The medical records, he said, I can't be sought until the women are asked whether they have ever had an abortion, how many and where. Further, he said, the records would not be Epstein. The judge says the records would not be made public and might not be admissible during trial. But, he said, since the women claim Epstein, now 57, is responsible for their emotional distress, his attorneys can explore the impact of other events. Medical records, Hafley said, are a better source of information than a person's memory. Attorney Louis Silver, who represents the Presidential Women's Health Center, a West Palm Beach clinic where abortions are performed, warned Hafley that he was stepping on shaky constitutional grounds. These records are protected by our constitutional right of privacy, he said, referring to the Florida Constitution. After the hearing, Silver said an appeal won't be necessary until Epstein attorneys seek the records. In another ruling, Wednesday, Hafley also said that videos from depositions in the state cases can't be released without a court order. The ruling came after Epstein attorney Robert Critton complained that a video of Epstein being asked whether he had an egg-shaped P3 niece became a YouTube sensation. It first appeared on the Palm Beach Post website. Critton blamed attorney Spencer Coven for releasing it. Coven said it was public record. The civil suits began mounting after Epstein agreed to plead guilty to 2 state charges, procuring a minor for prostitution and soliciting prostitution. He served 13 months of an 18-month sentence. As part of the deal brokered with federal prosecutors, he agreed not to contest the accusations in the civil lawsuits. Date: January 27, 10. Edition: Palm Beach Post. The judge rules Epstein attorneys can subpoena abortion 316mm 408062 records. End of document. 039561214. Prostitution ringleader sentenced to 21 months. November 11, 2001 staff report. A man extradited from Germany has been sentenced to 21 months in prison and fined $6,000 for recruiting Czech women to a prostitution ring with promises of modeling work. Ronald Eppinger had faced up to 10 years after pleading guilty this month to charges of alien smuggling for prostitution, interstate travel for prostitution, and money laundering. Eppinger worked with 2 Czech women to get tourist visas for the future prostitutes and kept nearly half of their earnings from operations in Miami, New York, Texas, and the Bahamas, prosecutors said. Women were brought to the United States illegally from 1997 to 1999. As part of his plea, Eppinger forfeited a boat and limousine used to promote the call girl service. Eppinger learned he was under investigation in June 1999 and moved from the United States to the Czech capital of Prague. He was arrested in Germany last December while traveling from the Czech Republic to Spain and was sent to the United States in May. If you have enjoyed this video and the time it takes me review these documents and then bring them to you, then please like this video, share it, and leave your comments in the comment section. Please share this so as many people as possible can hear these messages, and hopefully these victims can finally be heard and know we care about them and wish them the very best in life. See you next time. Stay safe, stay alert, and stay suspicious. End of document. 03956